Labor. In this unit you learn about division of labor, inequality and discrimination in employment labor, labor with pay and without pay, laborers of organized and unorganized sectors, and challenges of unorganized laborers. Plato wrote in his book, The Republic, on the division of labor. He said, human society is formed on natural inequalities. This natural inequality is based on division of labor. A society's need is fulfilled by different divisions of people. For example, the food is produced by farmers, cloth by weavers, and dresses are produced by tailors. The division of labor leads to organic merger of various sections of society. The division of labor is necessary to fulfill the needs of social, economic, and political needs of the society. But there should be no exploitation in this process. While discussing on the division of labor, Karl Marx says, division of labor creates less skilled workers. He classifies division of labor into two different divisions of economic labor and social labor. He opines that the division of economic labor goes with the technical and people's cooperation. The division of social labor achieves social control through class, status, and stratification. A different division of labor can be seen in a post-industrialized society than in an industrialized society. In the present digital world, the division of labor is done through computers. For example, in the information technological society, the division is based on various skills in using the computers. As we consult different doctors for different ailments, the computer technicians are consulted for various aspects of information technology related issues. Like this, specialization creates division of labor. Here, specialization means having deeper knowledge and in-depth skill in one particular field. Division of labor has helped people to gain skills in a field and earn economic benefits in accordance with their skills. Due to economic interests and the division of labor, the class system emerged. Since division of labor found widespread accessibility, business and industrialization emerged. As a result, a few people could invest more and earn more profit. Inequality in employment labor refers to earning in cash or kind by providing one's manual or intellectual labor. Labor is an important aspect of human society. Labor also means a function done in order to achieve something. If a result is available for a person either in cash or kind due to one's physical work, then it is called labor. With the emergence of a stratified division of labor, inequality starts in society. Hence, in the Indian context, labor has not remained a mere economic activity. It has become part of the social structure with inequalities. The labor in India has been mixed with gender, caste, region, and religion. This has resulted in various forms of inequalities. In Indian society, if a person moves upwards with his status and role, his power and income also rise. Any labor that goes against the dictum equal labor, equal pay can be termed as inequality in labor. If differential payment is given to two people who put the same amount of time and effort, then it is called discrimination. Though women and men engage in similar work, their compensations are not the same. In India, men are paid more for their work than women. Even though such discrimination is less in the government sector, inequality is evident in the stratified work. In non-governmental organizations, the salary of one person remains unknown to another. However, the inequality in pay is more visible in the unorganized sector than in the organized sector. In the agriculture sector, unequal division of labor is based on sex, age, and capacities. As a result, the question of the right compensation for women remains silent. For example, women rise early and prepare breakfast for those people who go out for work, and later they themselves join others in active labor. But while providing compensation or making decisions, they are treated as inferior to men. Most societies do not consider the labor of women as important. This indicates inequality in labor. The unequal division of labor is more evident in our villages. Again, there is a lot of discrimination between the educated and the uneducated. The Safai Karmacharis, who clean our roads and gutters, receive lesser compensation than the minimum compensation. They spend a lot of energy to clean, but still receive less compensation. The inequality in society is based on gender, class, income, region, and religion. This inequality is also classified based on with compensation and without compensation. We shall discuss the nature of inequality in this sector later, with pay and without pay labor. Labor without pay refers to work done without payment, either in cash or kind. Such work is called labor without compensation. Labor often becomes an activity without any monetary or material benefit. In payless work, the worker cannot be compensated for their efforts. This work often happens within the family due to love, status, self-motivation, or force. Another example is that of students taking part in activities like Scouts and Guides or NCC as part of their schooling. Sometimes, students are also assigned particular work as part of their coursework. During this time, the students are paid, as seen in IT and nursing courses. Another example is an artist who engages in painting for their own satisfaction. Family-based work is most often found in the work without pay category. In a family setup, the burden of work typically falls more on women. The issue of women working in the family without any compensation is more discussed within the framework of feminism. Since women are bound by work at home, they are discouraged from finding work outside for compensation. This has made women unpaid workers in the family. Though women participate in various family tasks, their contributions often go unrecognized. Nowadays, it is argued that the work of women in the family is declared as more important. However, by declaring this, women are often restricted to family and family-related tasks only. Labor with pay refers to work that receives compensation based on hours, days, or months for semi-skilled or skilled work. This is called wages. Wages are given based on the total work done and are provided on an hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Labor in small businesses, roadside businesses, factory work, assistant teaching in schools, building work, vehicle repair garages, and agricultural farm work all fall under labor with pay, i.e., wages. Though the compensation is often meager, it becomes inevitable for people to work in this complex social scenario. In most cases, workers do not receive the expected wages. Compensation is an agreement between the worker and the owner. Sometimes, the compensation may even be in the form of materials. In traditional societies, each person had a customary and hereditary profession. Hence, people were dependent on each other in a given social environment. Money was in least circulation, and harmony and coexistence among various castes were desirable. The barter system was more popular in village setups. In most cases, physical labor was compensated with material goods and food grains. As the use of money increased, the practice of providing monetary compensation for labor also grew. Laborers from organized and unorganized sectors. Laborers from the organized sector, the labor sector is divided into primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors. Similarly, based on the securities and facilities available, the labor sector is further divided into organized and unorganized sectors. The sector that is enrolled as per the law of the government and provides fixed wages and facilities within the framework of law is called the organized sector. This sector is guided by various laws such as the Minimum Wages Act, Factory Act, Special Allowances Act, Provident Fund Act, and many other acts in support of laborers. In the organized sector, institutions like schools, hospitals, industries, government-related services, commercial banks, life insurance companies, the military, and others are included. This sector requires permission from the government before it begins operations. It is also mandatory for them to pay taxes. It is the responsibility of the institution to provide special facilities and provide employment security for the workers. It is mandatory for them to provide pay on specified dates along with overtime pay whenever the workers have worked beyond the stipulated time. This sector is guided by legal modalities. The relationship between employee and employer is regulated by legal provisions. Laborers in the unorganized sector. The unorganized sector of work is that sector where legal provisions do not completely govern. In this sector, the relationship between the employer and employee is not guided by any legal provisions. There is no need for registration. This sector does not follow the legal provisions of the government, and there are no tax provisions here. It includes minor transactions such as vehicle repair, selling goods like vegetables, fish on head, puncture repairers, and others. There is no fixed time or duration for this work. Moreover, they work day and night without breaks. Most of the laborers in this sector earn daily wages. The minimum wages in this sector usually stay below the mandatory pay fixed by the government. The laborers won't receive any medical benefits or overtime benefits. They do not get any paid leaves. Laborers like construction workers, loading and unloading workers, brick kiln workers, landless laborers, small and marginal farmers, fishermen, beedi workers, mine workers, and many others belong to this sector. The fact that most of the laborers work in the unorganized sector denotes the condition of workers in India. In total, 90% of the laborers work in the unorganized sector. The challenges faced by unorganized sector workers. Laborers working in the unorganized sector face many social and economic problems. They do not have a fixed work schedule, fixed pay, or defined benefits. In fact, they don't even receive a fixed wage. Migration. In the book, Footloosers, a study of circular migration is done, focusing on the labor of people working in the unorganized sector. The study highlights the inevitability of people migrating from their place of living to a place of work. Migration is one of the main features of the unorganized sector. Workers in this sector migrate from one place to another in search of work. These migrants do not have social security. Social security. Workers in the unorganized sector face social insecurity. Social security refers to having the minimum necessities of life, such as housing, health, water, food, and equal opportunities to work. Providing these facilities universally and publicly is called social security. However, this is not available to people working in the unorganized sector. Legal framework. For workers in the unorganized sector, many legal provisions do not apply. For example, these workers do not receive wages based on their work duration. They are not entitled to the wages under the Payment of Gratuity Act 1971 or benefits like the Provident Fund. These workers miss out on many other legal protections. Child labor. Children work in unhealthy environments in many semi-skilled or unskilled jobs. For example, children work in large numbers in the production of firecrackers. They work in dangerous environments without any guarantees for their safety or life. Capitalism expects more work for less pay, and children become victims of this greed. In short, the unorganized sector fosters child labor. Physical and mental exploitation. Most of the women in the unorganized sector work as domestic helpers. The rate of physical and mental exploitation of these women has increased in recent years. According to statistics from 2014 to 15, more than 77% of women work in the unorganized sectors. These women are often sexually exploited, and such incidents are reported on a regular basis. Some of the issues mentioned above highlight the severe challenges faced by workers in the unorganized sector.